Welcome to Africa 24 English. In Congo's 2026 presidential race, Dave Mafoula runs on the promise of a new beginning. In this edition of the campaign journal, we cover the rollout of 7 new RTG gantry cranes to ease port traffic, the approval of the national sanitation policy, and the success of Boueya's parquet de rire in Brazzaville.
Dave Mafoula, a Congolese opposition figure, announced his candidacy for the March 2026 presidential election on Saturday, December 13, 2025. He proposes a new beginning centered on institutional and political reform, including a revised constitution to ensure separation of powers, judicial independence, and effective checks and balances. Mafoula claims to represent thousands of Congolese seeking profound change, social justice, and national dignity, not just his party. I'm ready to return to the Congolese people the freedom that is rightfully theirs, ready to restore a calm and credible democracy, ready to ensure an equitable redistribution of our national wealth to sustainably improve the living conditions of every Congolese. It is in this spirit, with a profound sense of responsibility, that here before you, before the Congolese people, and before history, I solemnly announce my candidacy for the March 2026 presidential election. Dave Mafoula's program focuses on state rebuilding, modernization, education and health, economic diversification, and local resource processing to reduce raw material dependence and create jobs. This vision is timely, as nearly 47% of the population lives in poverty, and unemployment affects about 20% of the active population, with youth being disproportionately affected. To spur change, he urges citizens to be responsible and actively engaged.
C'est pourquoi je lance un appel solennel.
That is why I make a solemn appeal to everyone, to those who still believe in this country despite its trials, to those who refuse to let the tragic history of the past 40 years repeat itself, to those who know that being born in a country is not a mere coincidence, but a sacred mission, a mission of courage and responsibility, to those who know that if we go to the polls in mass, we could free our country.
Mais une mission sacrée.
For the candidate, these figures reflect the failure of a governance model unable to translate the country's wealth into social progress despite considerable potential in the oil and forestry sectors. He calls for a new beginning, which also includes a national act of reparation aimed at compensating victims of past violence and correcting accumulated injustices. In order to cope with the rapid increase in maritime traffic, Congo Terminal in the Republic of Congo received between June and July 2025 7 new rubber-tired gantry RTG yacht cranes at the port of Pointe Noire. Equipped with a lifting capacity of 40 tons, these state-of-art machines can handle containers up to 5 levels high.
Face aux nouvelles exigences de compétitivité des ports,
faced with new competitiveness requirements for ports and competition between them, the port of Pointe Noire must demonstrate its ability to accommodate next-generation vessels and facilitate smooth cargo handling, hence the need to modernize not only the equipment, but also port services.
Des équipements, mais du service portuaire.
These advanced machines will increase yard productivity, reduce waiting times, and expand storage capacity. With 33 RTG trains and 8 STS quay trains, Congo Terminal is strengthening its operational capabilities. This modernization of port infrastructure is aimed at further supporting the hydrocarbons sector, which currently accounts for around 32% of the national GDP.
Le port de Pointe-Noire est à concurrence avec
The port of Pointe Noire competes with the port of Owendo in Gabon, Port Harcourt in Nigeria, and the port of Douala. All these ports must demonstrate a certain level of competitiveness in terms of equipment, service quality, and smooth access. Therefore, beyond equipment, Pointe Noire must ensure easy accessibility.
soit disponible avec un accès facile.
Since the beginning of its concession in 2009, Congo Terminal reports having invested over 450 million euro in infrastructure, staff training, and acquisition of cutting-edge equipment. During the launch of Alberak's operation on June 19, 2025, the Minister of Urban Sanitation promised to put an end to the mountains of rubbish disfiguring the country's 2 major cities. Yet, this waste pile remains ubiquitous, accumulating beside half-full bins, reflecting persistent unsanitary conditions caused by both the growing volume of waste and the lack of suitable equipment. Some diseases are caused by rubbish, and really, President Denis Sassou Nguesso must organize waste management properly.
C'est pas croyable. Dans une ville...
It's unbelievable in a city like Brazzaville. In broad daylight, this is a main road. Actually, no road was even main, even deep in the neighborhood there. When we talk about typhoid, it's also because of this. Yet they charge us 2,000 CFA francs to remove the rubbish.
2000 francs pour enlever les ordures là.
C'est vraiment triste de remarquer que dans un...
It's really sad to see that in a country like us, where a major company took responsibility for sanitation, this same company is no longer active, and today our country, or rather the population, has to live in disarray.
Je dirais la population puisse vivre dans le désarroi.
Faced with this situation, authorities now aim to accelerate action. A national sanitation policy was approved on October 14, 2024 in Brazzaville, with support from UNICEF and the African Development Bank. This strategic document aims to reduce sanitation-related diseases, protect the environment against climate challenges, and promote a circular economy as well as the creation of green jobs.
La politique nationale d'assainissement validée aujourd'hui.
The National Sanitation Policy validated today now provides a clear reference for public action, bringing together all partners around coherent and realistic objectives. It fills a persistent strategic gap, strengthening actor coordination, optimizing resources, and ensuring rigor in project monitoring.
Et la rigueur dans le suivi des projets.
Planned over a 10-year period, this policy marks a major turning point in waste management and access to decent sanitation infrastructure. Above all, it symbolizes a new ambition, a cleaner, greener, and healthier Congo. Congolese comedian Boueya has been making waves on social media for several months. His sketches blend satire, caricature, and legal comedy in a style uniquely his own. He frequently uses Lingala expressions such as Oyali Mabe, meaning you are bad, or Loi Ekolakisa Yo, meaning the law will hit you, which have become emblematic of his performances.
Je suis très heureux d'être sur Africa 24, merci. Mais
I'm very happy to be on Africa 24, thank you. But Boyali Mabe, my beginnings were very modest. Because like all beginnings, you start from the bottom. You will sometimes perform improvised shows in schools, small emulations, where at the end of the school year, students were chosen to make others laugh, including parents attending the school event. That's how it started. And then we gradually grew. After the back exam, we arrived in Brazzaville, joined Brazza Comedy Show, took courses at the French Institute, trained in comedy, and today, by the grace of God, it's going well.
Formation en humour et aujourd'hui, par la grâce de Dieu, ça va.
A former law student, he advocates for the creation of an African comedy industry where young talents can express themselves and make a living from their art. On October 4, 2025, he tested the parquet jury in front of over 1,500 spectators at the Palais de Congrès in Brazzaville during a unique show. Its success has now fueled continental ambition with an African tour in preparation.
Alors, les projets à venir sont nombreux parce que, étant qu'artiste, j'ai déjà lancé...
The upcoming projects are numerous. As an artist, I've already launched my production company, Premier Prod, which co-produced the show with Pemba Mabika at the Palais de Congrès. I want this company to grow. The project also includes taking the parquet jury on tour across Africa. Parquet jury will travel everywhere because in Africa we face problems and societal issues. And through comedy, this powerful tool, we want to expose, raise awareness, and above all, bring joy to the population.
Éveiller et surtout faire du bien à la population.
Combining cultural engagement and legal humor, Boueya is establishing himself as one of the most creative faces of the new Congolese comedy scene. With his parquet jury, he hopes to champion authentic African humor that is exportable and recognized beyond Congo's borders.
That wraps up this edition of the Campaign Journal on Congo's 2026 presidential election. Thank you for watching Africa 24 English. Stay tuned for the best African news in streaming and replay on our website, africa24tv.com, and on all our social media channels.